Hey Sheila, after reading your post, I agree with much of what you said and what you gathered from this week's interview. To me, Dr. McMinn seemed very genuine in his beliefs and his psychological philosophy. I definitely appreciate his desire to acknowledge common ground among his Christian psychologist peers who hold different perspectives. But fundamentally, Dr. McMinn agrees with Stanton Jones's concluding statement in Chapter 3 of the book Psychology and Christianity: Five Views, published in 2010. Jones states, integration means approaching the discipline and profession of psychology with a commitment to having one's Christian convictions shape every aspect of one's work, because Scripture and the accumulated wisdom of the church in theology leaves many areas of uncertainty in understanding and helping humanity. We approach psychology expecting that we can learn and grow through our engagement with it. End quote. I think this is very reasonable and a very reasonable approach to the world that the Christian God has created, which has many observable and quantifiable traits that we can study and learn from. Going back to differences in opinion, I think Dr. McMinn's response highlights an important principle. Differences in opinion don't necessarily have to equate to absolute incongruity. This goes for Christian psychological views as well as Christian doctrines. It would seem more productive and more godly to focus on the important practices and beliefs that are agreed upon and to respectfully make time and space for other viewpoints without necessarily accepting them. For example, I'm currently enrolled in Regent's Early Modern Church History class, which focuses on significant movements and events in the Christian church from the 16th century up through the 18th century. So I'm talking Luther, Calvin, Wesley, Zwingli, etc. The sheer amount of differences and disagreements, some of which actually led Christians to physically kill other Christians, is just mind boggling. And when you read about the issues these folks disagreed on, these definitely were not issues that were worth or that warranted armed conflict or church sanctioned violence and execution. Because really, those folks had the most important aspect in common, and that was Jesus Christ. Now, coming back to the present, this relates to Christian psychological views as well, which Dr. McMinn mentioned. All these counselors, all these Christian psychologists, they aim to serve the Lord and to help people. Those are the two common themes: serving the Lord and helping people. The particulars on how to get there are the reasonable differences that should be discussed for mutual edification. Again, you and I gathered much of the same from this particular video this week. Thanks for your thoughts.